Sometimes, the people you love the most are the ones who teach you what pain really means. You trust them with your heart, your dreams, your secrets, believing they will protect them. But one day, without warning, they break that trust. And even though you smile in front of the world, inside you carry a storm no one can see. You tell yourself you can't forgive, that letting go means losing. But the truth is, forgiveness doesn't make you weak, it sets you free. This is the story of two men who once trusted each other more than brothers, until betrayal destroyed everything. There was a time when trust meant everything to Gideon. He wasn't rich, and he didn't chase fame. He just wanted a simple life built on honesty and hard work. He met Ronan when both of them were struggling to survive. Two young men, both hungry, not for power, but for progress. They worked small jobs, carried heavy loads, saved whatever little they could, and slowly built something together. Ronan had charm. He could talk to anyone. Gideon had patience. He could endure anything. Together, they were balanced. They opened a small shop on a quiet street. It wasn't much, but it was theirs. Day by day, customer by customer, they built it with effort and trust. People used to say, they're like brothers. And for a while, they were. But success tests people in ways struggle never does. As things improved, Gideon stayed the same. Ronan didn't. At first, the changes were small. Decisions made without asking, numbers that didn't quite add up, promises followed by excuses. Gideon noticed, but he stayed silent. He believed trust meant patience. He didn't realize silence can also feed betrayal. The end didn't come with shouting or arguments. It came quietly. Papers signed behind his back, money taken without his knowledge. Ronan sold part of their business, took the profit, and disappeared. No explanation, no goodbye, just a note that said, "I'm sorry, I need to start fresh." Gideon didn't chase him. He didn't fight. He just stood in that empty shop, staring at what used to mean everything. Days turned into months. Gideon kept working. He rebuilt the shop, piece by piece. From the outside, he looked strong. But inside, something had changed. The fire in him was no longer hope, it was pain. Forgiveness sounded easy in stories, but in real life, it felt impossible. How do you forgive someone who never asked for it? How do you forget when everything reminds you of what you lost? Years passed. Gideon moved forward, but never truly moved on. He stopped trusting people. Even when life improved, he refused to feel joy because every good moment reminded him of the past. Then one day, he heard Ronan's name again. A traveler spoke of a man who had lost everything, his business, his health, his life falling apart, and Gideon knew it was him. For the first time in years, he didn't feel anger, he felt something heavier, a question. Could he forgive? Not for Ronan, but for himself. Gideon's life had become routine, work, silence, distance. Even his wife Mara, who had stood by him through everything, never forced him to speak. She understood that some wounds take time. One day, a supplier gave Gideon a chance to hurt Ronan's business indirectly. Gideon refused. "I don't build by destroying others," he said. That night, he looked at the note Ronan left behind. He had kept it all these years, not as a memory, but as proof of pain. But instead of giving him strength, it kept him trapped. Days later, a small incident changed something inside him. A young worker made a mistake and tried to hide it. Gideon got angry, more angry than the situation deserved. Later, he realized the anger wasn't about the mistake. It was still about Ronan. That night, he apologized to the boy. And strangely, that apology healed him more than anyone else. Slowly, Gideon began to understand something. You don't always carry pain because of what happened. Sometimes you carry it because you refuse to let it go. Time passed. Then one day, he heard Ronan was seriously ill. This time, the feeling didn't leave him.
He told Mara, "I want to go see him, but I don't know what to say." She replied, "You don't need words. Sometimes presence is enough." After days of hesitation, Gideon finally went. When he reached Ronan's house, he stood at the door for a long moment, then knocked. Inside, he saw a man completely different from the one he remembered, weak, broken, regretful. Ronan looked at him with surprise. "I didn't expect you to come," he whispered. Gideon didn't come for explanations. He came for something deeper, for peace.
Ronan admitted everything. His greed, his lies, the stories he told himself to justify his actions. "I don't deserve anything from you," he said. Gideon sat quietly, then finally spoke. "I won't pretend the past didn't happen, but I don't want to carry it anymore." And then he said the words that had taken him years to reach. "I forgive you." Not because Ronan deserved it, but because Gideon needed it. In that moment, something heavy disappeared, not outside, but inside him. They didn't talk much after that. No long discussions, no dramatic closure, just silence, but a peaceful one. Before leaving, Gideon said, "Take care of yourself." Not as a friend, not as an enemy, just as a human being. On his way back, Gideon didn't feel joy. He felt something better. Lightness. For the first time in years, his mind was quiet. That night, he destroyed the old note Ronan had left behind, not out of anger, but because he no longer needed it. Weeks passed. Life didn't suddenly become perfect, but Gideon had changed. He stopped expecting the world to be fair. He chose to be fair anyway. He stopped expecting loyalty from everyone. He chose to be loyal anyway. He realized something powerful. Forgiveness isn't something you give to others. It's something you give to yourself. Because holding on to pain doesn't punish the other person. It punishes you. Months later, Ronan passed away. Gideon didn't cry. He didn't feel relief either. He simply stood outside his shop, watching life move on. That evening, he lit a candle. Not for Ronan, but for the peace he had finally found. Sometimes life doesn't give us closure. People hurt us and walk away without explanation. We wait for apologies that never come. But peace doesn't come when they say sorry. It comes when you decide you don't need it anymore. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing that the past will no longer control your future. You don't have to bring people back into your life. You just have to let them go from your heart. Because in the end, being right is not worth being bitter.